Call the meeting to order. 6 o'clock. Flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Minutes from last meeting, 8/31/16.
I moved them, all right, with section. I'll second that.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We're gonna rock right through this. Financial report?
Nope, how about non-public?
Oh, non-public, I'm sorry.
I'll make a motion on non-public.
Thanks, keeping you
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Let's try finance report. Nathan?
Go, Nathan, go.
Yep, I have the expense report through November 21st.
So,
Good.
Doug has a
Oh,
question.
you got a question?
I'm sorry, Doug.
so everything's encumbered then? We're all set?
Doesn't look like it.
So we're looking at 109 left over at this point?
Yeah, at this point, it is all the uncontrollables are encumbered.
Uncontrollables?
All the controllables or uncontrollables?
All the uncontrollables are encumbered. The ones we can't control, because of like contracts or
Oh,
whatnot.
all right, uncontrollables.
Okay.
Things that we can't control, they're out of our control.
Yeah.
They
Um,
have to be. You
yeah.
have to have that.
And those are encumbered.
You rock, Nathan.
Any other questions? Okay, Nathan?
Next report is the revenue report through November 21st. Pretty straightforward.
I have a question on that revenue report. I'm sorry, Bob.
Yeah, Doug.
That 410, is that the same thing we stick in our operating budget, or that's 441? But no, I'm sorry, never mind.
No, that's different.
Okay, all right.
You're
Never mind.
thinking the federal
No, I'm
grants.
okay, all right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
The next I have is the treasurer's report and the reconciliation for August.
I'll make a motion to approve the treasurer's report for August 2016.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained?
Thank you.
Okay. School board business. Pass
How
that
about
in.
cash reconciliation?
Did you do that one?
It goes along with the,
Okay.
it goes along with the bank statement.
Okay.
Asset inventory, committee report.
Could I please ask the board if they would be willing to consider putting transportation director on the agenda for D?
I kind of wrote that down too.
So we could just have a conversation?
D?
Okay.
What do I have?
I gotta add
Just
it.
add
No,
it.
you got
Oh,
it.
wrong one.
Consensus?
Is that it?
Yes, you said yes.
Yep.
Is that all right with it?
Everybody
Yep,
seems to
I
be
asked,
okay with
yep.
it.
Committee report for that, who does that? That'd be Brett.
I would think that would be, Lou and Peg. We met this morning, for what, maybe 2.5 hours? And maybe we got about halfway through everything, so, and we've got another meeting after June, what is it? I was gonna say June,
It's-
January.
January 4th,
Something,
yep.
yeah,
That's your next meeting?
yeah.
Yeah.
At 10:30 a.m.
I'm sleeping at 10:30 at night.
So am I. No, we just kind of went through all the rooms, and some things are broken, so we just They're gonna deduct those at the end.
Scrap metal or junk?
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
And we did discuss, at the end, if there's things that neither one of us want, that, Earl and, Nate can have both our principals and your principal come down and see if anything they want, 'cause there may be something that we could use in classrooms or nurse's office, you know.
Yeah.
But, and to maybe save that and other things would probably be sold, have a yard sale or something. And then
So that's what
split
you
it
guys, that's what you guys discussed,
57,
about a yard sale or
43.
something like that?
right.
Yes. How does, I mean,
I know. We know what you mean.
Yeah, what do you do?
Good idea.
So that's the disposal of unwanted materials? Is that-
Yeah,
that-
yes,
That
yeah.
one is on that
I was just
bill?
gonna ask, is that, cover that one?
yeah, well, like, nobody wanted the refrigerator,
Mhm.
right, Steve? Oh,
Here he
Steve's on
is,
here.
right on
Oh.
cue.
And so, I mean, you can't just throw that in a dump, it's brand new.
It is.
Yeah, it's a beautiful refrigerator.
It's a year old.
Someone may
mean-
use it, or we can, you never know. We'll see.
Right,
Yeah.
or maybe somebody would wanna buy it outright, you know,
Yeah.
we can make
Yeah,
an
we
ad.
could post it somewhere.
Yeah.
We can probably let that go. All right, that's it for that report?
Yeah, I think pretty much, don't you?
Mhm.
Everything was pretty hunky-dory.
Any questions for them? Well, superintendent's report?
As was stated, the group met as far as the assets in both, and things look really good. Things are going along well, and we're really optimistic that we can split things up very well. I think everything is going along really well in terms of both of the districts having their ideas and their thoughts as far as next year. And things are going along very well. And D is a discussion that I was going to bring up that you folks are going to discuss. And I think that everything is dividing up really, really well. And I think that both of the school districts and the representatives, Mrs. Nason, was extraordinarily good and kind, and I think the groups went room to room, and it was very conscientious, and I think something that could be very tough is going very, very well. And I just think that the one area in D is something that I think both districts should go back and take a look at, and I think that from, you know, and you folks can serve to make your own ideas about things, but I think that that's one area that you could see as we get into the ice and the snow and the various things. And I can only say to that, that I've worked with many people during the years in that capacity, and I think that it would go very well. And I think that that should really be looked at, because that's a piece that is, we divide up in each district does their own ways for next year. I think that's one position that I think that folks should take a good look at, and tonight would be the night. As far as the student scores go, the state scores, during the next month, each of the districts, the administration is going to report out. Each of the administrative teams has been doing a lot of work in terms of making the board and the community aware of where the scores are. So you know, statewide, I know in the past there's been some question about schools in need and priority schools and focus schools and things like that. Now that the Smarter Balance has had 2 years, they will be coming out with the kind of putting schools where they are. So schools may fall in certain designations during the course of this year, because now they have data to go from in terms of smarter balance over the next 2 years. So be aware, and I and the administrative teams of the respective schools will report out, but be aware that the designations are going to be out here at some point. They're just giving us time to let the parents know what the student scores are, and then the boards of education should be aware of where they are, the scores are. And the principals of both schools will be comparing a cohort group. So, for example, a student that is now in 4th grade, you'll take a look at what their 3rd grade scores were. So you compare that student to that one. So, and then we're gonna take a look at where we compare statewide. So we can take a look at things. And then certain plans are gonna be put in within each of the schools to improve the scores. In that way, we'll have transition not only in what desks go where, but also in terms of students trying to improve and trying to improve instruction. Thanks, it's been a great thing, and I want to commend all of you on the fine work that you have done.
Mr. Sussman, should D be in non-public?
I think so.
Okay.
What is D?
Yeah, that's a very good point. I was starting to go there, and then I stopped.
Okay.
Ian?
Steve?
Nancy, can I just say that the telephone, is the E-rate gonna take care of that?
Yes.
That'll take care of that
Yep.
all then? All right.
Yep.
Do you have something, Ann?
I do. It was put on here as Student Service Director's update. I asked Bob if I could be on the agenda for a reason that's really a personnel reason, but I wanted it to be public. There's a couple of rumors that are going around the districts about me, and I would like to dispel them. The first rumor that's gone around, and I learned about it while I was out on leave, is that I work 95% of my time from home and 5% of my time in the district. If anyone knows the kind of work I do, that would be impossible. I did a lot of research. I backtracked on my emails back to when I was hired. I can count on one hand when I've worked from home. Michael Tercey didn't allow people from the central office to work from home, I can tell you that. So any day that I took off that was a weather-related day, I was either doctor sick day or a vacation day. Oftentimes I worked because it was a day that people were in the central office, and so I worked. And I take a lot of pride in the work I do. I've always, in this district, appreciated that I've been kept out of the politics, because I don't really like to be a part of politics. I like to be a student service director. And I wanted it public so that more than just the school boards knew that it's hurtful to think that anyone would pass a rumor around like that. So I've got all my personnel records if you want to look at it when I've taken time, but I can count on one hand how often I've worked from home. So that's the first rumor that I wanted to dispel, and I hope that people realize the work I do and hopefully ignore the rumor, because like I said, I take a lot of pride in my work. The other rumor that's gone around is that I have been involved in nepotism. So we contract with New England Center for Children, and they have their own employees that provide BCBA services. And this year, my daughter, who works for New England Center for Children, was placed in Milton and Wakefield. Immediately, there was in September, some conversation around nepotism, that I was providing favoritism towards my daughter. I don't employ her, I don't supervise her, And in fact, if I'm in a meeting that, well, she no longer works in Milton, I've requested her not to be there any longer. We have another person in Milton, she's still in Wakefield, Wakefield's very happy with her. I signed an ethical agreement with New England Center for Children that I have because of the unusual circumstance. My daughter has had a difficult year and had to move home with me with her 3 children. So New England Center for Children, which is a large organization, wanted an ethical agreement signed, so I want you guys to have a copy of that. She's not employed by me. I don't supervise her. And like I said, as soon as the conversation happened, I asked for her to be taken away from Milton because she doesn't need to have a microscope like that. So I just wanted to spell those rumors. I hope people believe me. I'm sorry if I'm emotional. I have 8 months left here. I feel like I've done good work for this district, both districts. I want to know what you want me to do for the next 8 months to help this transition. And I can guarantee that it's more often than not that I work more than 40 hours a week for our districts. So that was my main reason. But I do have one student service update. I've been watching the budget process for both boards, and this year IDEA has changed a little, and it's a grant that now is funded for 2 years. So we have this year's allotment, but it goes till September of 2018. We'll get another allotment in the fall, which is the last time we'll get a yearly allotment. In 2018, in September, we'll get a 2-year allotment. So I'm being careful with how I spend IDEA right now, because I think there's a lot of positions in both districts that are unknown right now for you. So I want to kind of leave that pool of money for things that may come up that you might need. So I have our essential things in IDEA that we use IDEA for, but I just wanted to let you know that I feel like that's in your best interest. If you think differently, tell me. But I feel like if we have this pool of money that goes through September of 2018, it might help boards and schools think about the positions that we're having a hard time thinking about right now.
Okay.
And just a quick question, if we don't spend the money, what happens to it by the fall of 2018?
We have to spend it
Okay,
by September
all right.
of 2018.
Okay, all right.
Usually, the money carries over when it's been a yearly grant, but it won't carry over
Okay.
after September of 2018, so it will have to be spent by then. And I intend to, make sure we're using it correctly for as long as I'm here. But there's positions I think that you as boards and principals need to help me understand what they want to do with those positions. And then we can think about how we can use IDEA. If that's agreeable to you, I'll continue in that mode.
Ralph?
And isn't it true that IDEA grants are only for specific things anyway, and the superintendent in the past and probably presently makes assurances to the government that those grants are used for some specific things only?
Yeah, so I'm not suggesting that I'm saving the money to use for things that can't be covered under IDEA.
Is there a chance that I could get, or maybe both boards could get a list of the things that those IDEA grants are specifically designed for?
So the DOE has a list of allowables and not allowables, so I'll get that to the board members.
Thank you very much.
Good, Lou.
When this becomes a 2-year thing, and would that mean that a whole lump sum would come in at the beginning of 18? Or how will that work?
It never is a lump sum. You actually spend it out of your budget, and then we get reimbursed by the Department of Education.
Monthly.
Monthly. Nathan does a report monthly to get the reimbursement. So you kind of front the money, but not for very long. It used to be much different. It used to be you'd wait for months for the money, but now that you can report monthly, you get reimbursed pretty quickly.
It's actually, yeah, a couple weeks or so.
Chief?
But it's gonna be split as of next June
Oh,
30.
we're doing, this year it's separate. I'm doing Wakefield and Milton separately.
All right.
Yeah, this year it's not consolidated. So Wakefield has, around 130,000 and Milton has around 150,000.
Good, Ralph.
Of which I've only really put in each district under 20,000 at this point. I'm covering our contracted services for psychologists, and I do still have out-of-district coordinator in there. I don't really know what direction we're going with that, and with court liaison, so I left that in there, a small amount of money, and Milton has a little bit of her coordinator position in there.
So the monies that you spend per district is basically as you see it needed, is that correct?
You can, what I do with IDEA is, when I get it July 1st, I put what I know I have to cover in IDEA, and that has always been school psychologist, district coordinator. I always put a little bit of money in for technology that's student-driven, and I always put some professional development money in there. And then you can add activities as you see what you need.
So I was just thinking about when you said 130 and 150 and something to that effect, but those numbers are only based on which district needs what, is that correct?
That's the money you have. If you don't spend your 130 plus whatever we get next year for Wakefield by 2018, my understanding is you would lose it. So you do need to spend it before September of 2018.
Okay, so when you say we need to spend it, is there something wrong with saving it?
You lose it.
And that's wrong.
That's to your discretion. It's not to my discretion. There's something else I was going to say about that. I'm sorry.
Senior moment.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Thank you, Ann. Non-public?
Public comment first?
I mean, not public comment, I'm reading it. Public comment, no? None?
But, I'll make a question. Larry Brown, Milton, possibly the direction you may have been going, not knowing the topic, but trying to think of a useful question. With the budget going 57-43, one would think that the 150 would therefore belong to Wakefield. My understanding would be that those funds are being driven by the specifics of the needs of each district within the block grant which went to the district,
Right.
the major district.
You asked my question better than I did. Thank you.
Any other questions? All right, non-public under, what is it? RSA what?
It's RSA, come on, you know it, Doug.
40B?
A, B, C, D.
Mr. Sussman, you know what it is?
D.
It's D, all right.
Is it D this time? Okay. Yeah, employees are D? Is that what you're talking about?
I'm sorry, I thought you meant.
No,
D.
we're gonna go into non-public
See,
under C.
C.
Under C.
Okay. C.
She knows them.
Seer, aye.
Joy, I.
Glen aye.
Snyder, aye.
Bird, aye.
Doug, aye.
You all right?
I picked up on that.
Jerry, aye.
Well, I,
Under what, which letter?
C.
And C only?
You don't need to.
Thank you, Ann.
Drive safe.
Yeah, take care going.